Hello, class. I'm recording a screencast now on our Heraclitus work. So I'm looking at and focusing on two of the excellent examples from the class. So there were plenty of others. I just want to focus on these because the students did a great job of completing the assignment in light of how we're understanding a specific fragment of Heraclitus. One of the big issues as far as a problem that I was noticing a lot of students were experiencing had to do with the point that a few students were attempting to answer all four of the points when all I wanted was for students to focus on one of the points as opposed to all four. And the reason why, and so students that did that probably had difficulty because then the answers stretch out the idea. You don't have enough room to explore the idea as you would if you were just focusing on one, which is the reason why I had the assignment set up like that. Okay, so that was primarily one of the big issues. Okay, so here I want to focus on a student who did an excellent job too. So we'll go ahead and read it. In the fragment, what is opposed brings together. The finest harmony is composed of things at variance, and everything comes to be or occurs in accordance with strife. Heraclitus demonstrates the unity of opposites. So that was continuing from in this fragment. So maybe I would bring that up to here in the fragment. B8, Heraclitus demonstrates the unity of opposites, and then quote the fragment or something like that. Okay. Then in this statement, he points out how the existence of harmony is derived from the existence of strife. A part of the same idea is that strife exists only because the opposite experience of harmony. This is to say that strife and harmony are opposites in union, as without one you could not have the other. In accordance with the idea of the unity of opposites, the more capacity of strife that humanity experiences, the more tranquil of harmony or peace that can be described as well. Heraclitus is quick to assert that despite being opposites, these concepts are brought together through unity of opposites. He specifies this assertion by stating that harmony is composed of things at variance, thus everything about harmony comes to be from strife. Based on this fragment, Heraclitus elucidates that one of the key laws of the world is the existence of phenomena through how in reality two seemingly opposite phenomena are truly one whole. Okay, so again, this is an excellent job by this student having to do with the idea that the student's focusing on a fragment and then also then showing me that they're addressing unity of opposites. And then the most important thing is that the student is also showing me the structure. So I really get a strong sense that the student is attempting to and accomplishing the goal of explaining the structure of the thinking. And I really get a sense of that because the students kind of just taking this apart and trying to show me all the different parts of it and how those are understood. With my highlighted portions here, let's see, this, the student could include a comma there. And then do you really need could, right? In other words, as without one, you do not have the other, right? The more capacity of strife that humanity experiences, so in other words, the more strife humanity experiences, the more tranquil harmony or peace, occurs, perhaps. So in other words, maybe that's just a little bit awkward in terms of that can be described as well. And then here, let's see, unity. So despite being opposites, these concepts are brought together through the unity of opposites. So in other words, they are brought together by unity, right? Because the student already pointed out being opposites. So that's just a little bit of a redundancy there. And then also here, thus everything about harmony is from strife. And then Heraclitus elucidates this sentence, I think could probably be maybe one or two sentences broken down that could be clearer. Okay, so but still, this is an excellent example from a student. So let's look at another example. So Heraclitus said, "Upon those who step into the same rivers, different and again different waters flow." This is an ideal representation of Heraclitus's belief in the necessity of constant change in the world, yet also unity in how these exchanges are balanced. This quote presents the idea that not everything about rivers is changing, for they are still as an entity and remain, yet the water is constantly changing. The water running through these rivers is what makes the rivers stay the same, paving their path, but they will always be different each time they are stepped into, as these waters never stay in one place. Without change, the rivers would not exist. Panta describes this and is the notion that life is flux, which can be seen as the essence of life. All things change, and change is itself, and change is life itself. Heraclitus furthermore sees change as elemental, a pre-Socratic way of thinking in which he believes that everything is based in one thing. And in this quote, water is the elemental aspect. Then this connection of philosophy to a physical element makes him a proto-scientist, as he notices how movement is exchanged, while as a whole, things stay as one, just like rivers. Okay, so again, this is an excellent example. There are a few things I would recommend. In other words, could we find a different verb here instead of said? And then here, let's see, for they remain, right? So this quote presents the idea that not everything about rivers is changing, for there are elements that remain the same, yet the water is constantly changing. The concept of a river remains the same, something like that. Then Panta Rei, I would recommend italicizing foreign words and phrases, okay? And then maybe perhaps eliminating can be, which is seen, right? In other words, you don't need can be, which is seen as. And then pre-Socratic should be capitalized. And then this sentence probably could be taken to 2 or 3 sentences, maybe divided into 2 or 3 sentences. But other than that, this is great too, because the student is showing me the quote, showing me how this has to do with change, and also how the structure of the thinking is understood in relation to the quote. Because again, we're looking at the structure of the thinking, and that's what's important, and this student is doing a great job of that. Okay, so I think that's good for the screencast, and hopefully that helps other students. And just know that there were other excellent examples. I just wanted to choose 2 here just to start out with. So thank you, class, and talk to you later.